Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Saturday. It is May 11th, 2024. Quite late on this Saturday. It took a long time to get to this table. But dear God, I'm here. I'm here. In the words of Silly from The Color Purple. Hope you're having a great weekend. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. As a matter of fact, I was shocked to realize that tomorrow is Mother's Day. I was like, oh shoot. May 12th, you say. That's right. It is Mother's Day. So if you're a mom, happy Mother's Day to you. Off the top, I mean, I don't really give too much stock into that. Haven't for a while, into Mother's Day. Not too much, because, if you know, you know. But certainly, if it is the one day that you can feel appreciated as a mom, a mother figure, or to appreciate a mother figure that you do appreciate, then by God, happy Mother's Day to you. Hope you enjoy your Sunday. But for now, let's see what we got. Wow, the Lovers. Powerful start. The Lovers and the Four of Cups. What's this? Four of Cups. Ooh, eek. Seems to me somebody may have missed an opportunity for a lover's connection, took a chance on something, some substitute or another, and has either lived to regret it or that's what I feel. I feel regret here. And this may be the state of said lovers now. Someone that's trying to get the hell out of Dodge, and they hear the single lady with the Nine of Pentacles. So perhaps what they took a chance on wasn't sustainable. Maybe because this was the nature or the come from of, this was like the foundation of the relationship. Somebody that's kind of just impulsive or in it for I just heard bragging rights, like almost just, like almost competitively trying to conquer something or objectify a partner or a partnership, but wasn't really in it for the long haul as they're moving away, right? Or moving in the opposite direction. And then the Nine of Pentacles gives me someone that may not have been really in the market for commitment in a holistic sense. With the Nine of Pentacles, like they're a bit more self-centered in this regard, off of the Tower energy, how I'm reading it, not by itself, not even the Knight of Wands, by itself, but something about this Nine of Pentacles, it's like two people in a relationship that just really didn't have no business being in a relationship. One really was pretty self-centered. Both actually were pretty self-centered, or I don't know, maybe even lack some self-awareness, I would even say, or self-absorbed in a way that they just weren't commitment ready. But we're going to leave that there because the Lovers is here on the deck, and let's see where we can go in that frequency, because it's given two different frequencies, because nobody that commits to a lover's vibe, meaning submitting to your supreme self, and then whatever attraction, that arises on account of that elevation and that ascension, that's nothing to regret. It's a regret when you miss an opportunity to have that exchange or that advancement, but not if you actually rise to the occasion. You could never regret living in your most supreme nature. It's just there's absolutely no sense for that concept. Not even in the 3D. It's 100% guaranteed. So this is giving the energy of somebody that forfeited that to some degree. So let's see what else we got. I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet. Okay. 5 of Swords. Somebody's a little bit jealous of this lover situation. Ooh, power couple. That's something to be jealous of. No shade. Understandably so. I mean, yeah, and because somebody, man, yeah. Jealous because they ultimately blocked themselves from, it's definitely given somebody had the chance to be in a high level commitment and they squandered it. They didn't want to rise to the occasion, answer to the call, raise their frequency. And so they more or less kind of blocked themselves from the connection by default of a depreciated frequency. But instead of just kind of taking it on the chin, someone is activated in their, more activated in their jealousy to want to prove something or assert themselves in some way to make up for what they feel they've missed out on or missed an opportunity for. 2 of Swords is that somebody's blocking it. It's not, they're really not able to make as much of an impression as they would like to, which is probably cause for Emperor, for a compounded frustration. Yeah, like they're at a loss of control here. They want to regain control and dominance, and even pronounce some, like to be able to dictate the outcome of a situation back into their favor, but it doesn't seem like there's a way to do that. Like, you either going to rise to the occasion or you're not. You can't just force your way in to spaces that you don't have access to, or that do not allow you to have access, whether it be people, places, or things. You kind of have to have the clearance. There's no amount of power and authority or something here about pressure, or there's influence, but it's feeling like more than that, like force. Yeah, there's no amount of force that you could impose, especially from the source of a lower frequency, i.e. jealousy, envy, or competition, or whatever it is, that would allow you to infiltrate a spiritually sound space as that of the the Lovers card. It's like somebody trying to like force their way into heaven or into the Garden of Eden, like by their earthly credentials, what they've been able to kind of bogart or conquer in the physical form, like somebody that doesn't really take the word no well or lightly, and they're used to just kind of like railroading their way through objections, quite evidently, having evidence for how they can flex their power or abuse their power and authority to get through spaces, even that they may not have had access or entry to. They usually can find a way to do so otherwise, but there's something about if we're talking about an intensely spiritual space, it's a different bouncer at that door that doesn't care who you are. Do you know who I am type of energy? Like, they don't care. The angels at the gates of heaven on earth don't give a damn about what you've done in the world, especially detached from your spirit. So yeah, it's giving something like that, like somebody got to heaven's gates, in this sense, literally, probably by the incarnation of some relationship that would have been highly evolving or transformative, that they had invitation to access at some point in time. But when they declined that access, perhaps because it wasn't on the level of esteem that they revere in the 3D, in the physical form, they said, I'm good, I don't want that. They thought they had something better going on for themselves, or that there was more to explore or more to obtain by, holding back in that Four of Cups. And then lo and behold, where they did decide to hang their hat, turned out to be a shit show with the Tower card. And this is speaking to an arrogance and like an ego driven energy that just can't cope with the fact that they made a poor decision, and that they may be actually facing a rejection or a no, or both of those, like some type of no, rejection, no entry. There is a lack of welcome in some space that someone would want to infiltrate in spirit and or in truth. And let's see where it's what it's inciting, because the Five of Swords says a lot. That energy is already volatile, willing to do anything, which is certainly not productive for anyone or anything. Was that the Five of Wands? Yep, exactly. Competition. So there's that. Feeling challenged in competition, just simply on a missed opportunity, but it's like, yeah. Yeah. And certainly not wanting to bow out to any particular, I'm hearing to any lesser man. So this is someone that feels like that's where the ego and the pride is coming in, like they would be the premium choice, especially with the Emperor card, because of their accolades, their esteem, maybe their wealth, maybe their power, their position, their authority, how they, their access, their influence, their dominance, whatever it is that they have built an empire upon, they feel like that's their calling card or their face card. And so someone is more in competition and inner conflict with themselves over what rejection does to their ego than they actually are for whatever it is that's being objectified. The relationship, the person, the missed opportunity, yeah, exactly. The reflection of it is, it is this caliber, something that is highly valued and would be, as I said, elevating, transformative, and all that good stuff. Yeah, it has the potential to do that in the right frequency, but first of all, it's given that someone sees their rejection from this force field as like, what is it? Like, what is it that they're feeling? Like almost as like a personal assault or an insult. Yes, an insult. That's what it is. They feel insulted to some degree that what they once revered as beneath them would now not be open to receiving them. And so that kind of like, again, with ego and pride, it kind of like provokes that lower nature. You know how it is, like when when it's something that you so-called can't have, it makes it that much more desirable. When, like I said, it's really not so much the thing, the relationship, the opportunity, the person, none of that itself. It's just the reflection of rejection that incites someone to want to compete for it and conquer it. Now the thing itself becomes like the prize, or the territory, so to speak, because not achieving it or not obtaining it to someone that may have a defective self-esteem would only further be a bigger blow, a bigger fracture to that ego. So it's not even the thing itself. It's not the relationship, certainly not the love itself. To put it practically and primitively, it could be somebody that missed an opportunity with a partnership because they thought they could do better. They see somebody else now. What they took a chance on is really not giving what it was supposed to have gave. And now they're looking back and seeing what, what they may have missed an opportunity on, which is no longer an option. And it's a bit of a smack in the face to the ego that it wouldn't be an option, because, like, what do you mean? I'm the best option that there is. But not only is it not an option, but someone sees that a so-called lesser person could take their place, because, of course, as the emperor, you don't feel like anybody is better than you. And in the deck, there really isn't much that's better than you. That's the greatest power in the masculine form. But the problem is somebody sees their self as the emperor, but measured by material that is really of no consequence when we're talking about spiritual affluence. This is Two of Cups, like being able to match up with somebody in love, be on the same page, be supportive, be reciprocal, understanding, loving, open, honest. Off of the Five of Swords, this is not a trustworthy person. They've either proven that in some way, shape, or form, which is why their presence is not welcome with open arms here with the Two of Swords, or they just energetically have proven that to the universe, which is why certain doors and opportunities, contracts, commitments, certain levels of connection have been off limits to them, have been closed. It's really by their own frequency, the emission of their own energy, that those things have been restricted. But someone in their ego and in their pride doesn't see it like that. From a self-aware and internal perspective, they see everything outside of them as the challenge, the charge, and the problem. So this is somebody that needs some healing with the Star card. And they want to apprehend it by way of, like they objectify it in a way that it becomes a territory or an object to conquer or to acquire and obtain, like everything else, and achieve, like everything else in their life. But this is something that you become. There's a different level of accountability, responsibility, and authenticity that's required for someone to actually find themselves in this form and then be an attractive energy that would be welcomed and allow entry into spaces on this frequency. Like literally somebody trying to break their way into heaven, and they don't have the proper ID. Like the energy signature that they trying to get in with is like, It's like, how like in the government you get certain clearances. It's like somebody does not have the celestial clearance to get to certain levels of affluence, and they're sick about it. They're bothered at best, or I should say at least. Yeah, they can't understand it, child. Like, exactly. Like, look, this them at Heaven's Gate. Like, what do you mean I can't get in? It don't make no sense to them. It doesn't make any sense as to why they can't get through. They're confused. It's because they're trying to get through in a material. You know how it says, like, well, let me not go there because I can't even remember the actual passage, but, and it may not, as I'm about to say it, it may not be an actual passage, but maybe just one of those like Christian sayings about trying to like buy your way into heaven either through good deeds or materials or whatever, you know. And when I'm saying heaven, obviously I'm not talking about, well, it may not be obvious to you, so I guess it's worth saying, like, for me, it's not about the fantastical story of a place or the ideal of a place beyond the clouds that, you know, in the afterlife, of which, to be real, wasn't even in the original Bible. You know, that was something that evolved as a point in the story and was adapted to the text later. But I'm talking about the state of consciousness that is not limited by the 3D, 5D and up, at least 5D and up. It seems like somebody's having a hard time getting elevated beyond the 3D, the material world, because that's all they've been consumed by. That's where they've measured themselves. That's where they set their mark of success and value, and you know, have limited themselves to this dimension by certain choices that have been made, by certain frequencies that they have refused by way of that Four of Cups to elevate beyond. And so now, as the creative consciousness is evolving individually and collectively to new heights, and those that have aspired to those heights are beginning to materialize that value, whether it be in possessions or just in expression, in real time, you know, in real life, in the physical. It's causing a great spectacle to some degree of those that have been on one end of the spectrum or scale and have devoted themselves exclusively to the 3D, and now what the ceiling is for manifestation in that regard. And yeah, it's given more of that than it even is relationship, but it came out relationship. And now what is limited by that distorted devotion at this time, it feels almost like I hate to use this phrase, but I'm getting the like, feels like a noose around somebody's neck, or around some people's neck, like, because of what how they're used to flexing their physical muscles to acquire, obtain, direct, demand, command, you know, all of that stuff. And the energy of the emperor is, first of all, not as easy to come by, and also it's recognizable now, it's a realization now that it's not so sustainable or satisfying. So there's a craving for more, but without the training to advance for that level of magneticism, you're kind of stuck spinning your wheels basically on what has been dissatisfying or not quite satisfying. and also on the limitation of what you're actually able to acquire on that frequency, not really being able to expand beyond it. And I can imagine like it's an extremely frustrating place to be. I get even a sense of panic to look around and feel like, but you know, to see all the work that there's the ego and pride there. Like, what do you mean? Somebody's used to how they do things working for them, and now it's like somebody flipped the switch and those things just don't work the same way that they used to anymore. So having to cope with that reality and face the truth that it's not like, it's like when your power goes out, but you look around town and you see the neighbors across the street, they still good. So it's not everybody, you know, it's like where the neighbors next door, they still got power. So now you realize, oh, it's just me. You know what I mean? Like something's wrong with my circuit breaker or something like that. So this could be somebody's energy level that has just plummeted or depreciated greatly from what they've been used to maintaining and asserting, and it's confusing and bewildering is what I'm getting. Yeah. That's wild. What's on the bottom? Yeah, like I said, they're seeing other people move in a certain frequency and in a certain direction. And it's like, well, how y'all still got power? How y'all still moving? How y'all have access and entryway? It's like they got the secret password. How come? What did I miss? You know? And it's like somebody really is damn near clueless to some degree. I don't feel like they actually are. I just feel like it feels quite unbelievable that what their spirit tells them they missed out on, literally perhaps missing the boat in some way on an invitation to, you know, elevate their consciousness for the purposes of elevating their creativity. It's unbelievable. Like it's hard to accept. It's some level of denial here that somebody just, you know, refuses to accept that it was their choices that have created this dynamic, just as much as their choices are what would be any hope to see them out of it. But somebody first coming to this acceptance of having less than like imagine from the Emperor to the Two of Pentacles, the Emperor having infinite resources, infinite abundance, infinite influence to some degree, you know, having, like I said, just somebody that's not, the word no for them, you know, as a retort to their request doesn't make any sense. It's unacceptable. Like they don't take no for an answer. To give it out, that's something different. Their no means no, but however, something that they almost refuse to accept or receive. And now somebody's having to accept it and receive it, and is still in the same regard faced with the accountability to make a choice beyond this resistance. Like it doesn't just stop here, like you can't do it or have it the way that you used to, Burger King, but you still have to do something in order to have anything worth having, quite honestly, at this point. So it's like somebody really being faced with having to change their energy completely beyond reckoning with how, you know, how they've been has created what they have in this present moment. It's a hard thing to balance. Like somebody's freaking out. Somebody is free, maybe not just somebody, of course, but for all intents and purposes of the story on the board, like somebody is like really trying to get a hold on this reality, but it's just, it don't make no sense to them. Yeah, because they used to have, like I said, having it their way. However they wanted. Overindulging. Life of the party. What's on the bottom? 10 of Pentacles. Wow. And it's also given like this is the aspiration of someone. Like if, you know what I'm sensing? It's like somebody in their heart of hearts wishes they could have a do-over. Like they could somehow, turn back time or, run it back in some way and make a better choice at this state. Because this is what's projected to be the outcome of what perhaps they passed on. And that's the hardest pill to swallow, especially for someone that feels, so it's more, this is what I'm saying, it's more objectified by what's to be obtained. Because this is the most pentacles you can have in the suits, and for the Emperor, of course, it would be pleasing and satisfying to them to have the most because they think that they are worthy of that much. So it's really not sitting well with someone that the way that they thought they were having it their way and having the most and, overstimulated, overindulged, oversaturated in their own material satisfaction in life is not actually the grand prize, or the road to such. Like, not only did you not win the jackpot, you're not even in the runnings to win the jackpot at this point in time. When to someone that not only thought that they did win the jackpot, but that they themselves were the jackpot. It's like somebody is having a real harsh like smack in the face of reality right now. Ooh. Wow, and that came out in reverse. It hit the table upright, but then it fell in reverse. Yeah, it's not all fun and games anymore. The party's over and the lights are on. It's like, I've said this before, like when you in the club and, it's all good when everybody's drunk, everybody's drinking, having a good time, and the lights are, it's dark, but the lights are bright. and illusionary, and everybody looks good in those colorful lights and things of that nature. But the minute the minute that the club is done, the club is over, and they start turning those lights on, it's like, whew, you looking around at everybody else like, shit, do I look like that too? I hope I look all right, not sweaty and looking drunk and like disheveled and all out of, not definitely, if you're having a good time in such a way, you definitely don't look the way you did when you got there, let's put it that way. And then the people that you were courting, buying drinks all night long and partying with and just having a good time, it's like, if you're lucky, perhaps you still, maybe that's what it is, somebody still got on what they call like beer goggles, which is why it's hard for them to really adjust to this reality as truth. Like, this what I've been partying with all this time? Like, this who I, which makes sense about the whole relationship thing. Like, this is who I wake up to every night, or I go to sleep to every night and wake up to every day. Like, this is who I chose? Yeah, damn. That's fucked. But it's like, now, ain't nowhere else to go but out, and it's, you may have already made commitments to go to the diner or take somebody home, and now that the lights are on, you're not even really sure you still want to do that, but you've already committed to it at this point. It's like, it's like, what do you do in that instance? Wow, the Ace of Cups. Yeah, you thought you had the Ace of Cups and you literally had the Three of Cups in reverse. So somebody thought that they had plenty of options, plenty of entryways, plenty of opportunities. The world was their oyster. And when it all came down to it, they realized that they were chasing the wrong, chasing satisfaction by fleeting, they were chasing a fleeting satisfaction. It wasn't lasting, wasn't sustainable, and it wasn't even the authentic thing. This is the essence of love here. It's somebody that, like I said, with the club analogy, was just having a good time, maybe had multiple hookups and things, here and there. No commitment though, just living his life, having fun until perhaps eventually either the commitment to that lifestyle proved to be, because the Four of Cups actually is the Three of Cups in the background that somebody's kind of reminiscing on or kind of idolizing while they're actually rejecting the Ace of Cups that's being passed down from the clouds. So it's like somebody thought that the lifestyle that they chose had more to offer than either settling down, or they felt like there was something too settling about what they were being offered in a singular form, or in its more pure and holistic form, than what they had to gain from energies or opportunities that were more mysterious. It didn't look like this at the time. But this, which would have been what it appeared to be in the upright at the time when there was a choice and a comparison, ultimately, as it would be with the Seven of Cups, was actually the reversal. Something to hold you back, keep you bound, keep you in a with short-term satisfaction, but ultimately still thirsty. Too thirsty, because you always got to go back for more. And that's the type of lifestyle that I'm talking about, where we're satisfying our carnal nature above all, if not exclusively. It can never be satisfied. So when you forfeit the satisfaction in the spirit first, you find yourself in spaces and places with people doing things that you feel you need to keep these cups filled, but they always run out again, and that could look like with the Emperor card, being in certain spaces that do stroke the ego or make someone feel empowered and important and relevant, but you got to do so much to maintain that vibration that you end up, overworking yourself for quite limited results. Two of Pentacles here, like always having to give more of an investment than you're actually, extracting making a withdrawal. Yep. Always looking for a return. But a return off of a Three of Pentacles and a reverse, you may get something. You may catch something, or something may catch you, but it ain't gonna be what you want. It ain't gonna be the ships you want to see coming in. That's for sure. Exactly. Oh my God. Oh goodness. This is like communal. What's the right word? Like I keep hearing infection, but that's not the word that I want to use. Contamination. That's what I hear. Communal contamination. Yeah, damn. So this could be somebody that literally, and of course it could be physical, right? But in the spiritual sense of which I feel it matters most, it could have materialized, of course, and probably has, especially if I'm right about the spiritual nature of all of this. But in the spiritual sense, it's what would depreciate someone's face card or energy card on account of what they've acquired by way of what they allowed themselves to be invested in and exposed to. It's like I said, they don't understand they have an incessant expectation as the Emperor that there's always ships coming into, to the dock or the bay or whatever the hell. Like they always have an expectation to receive, to win, to gain, to acquire. It's damn right arrogant, as a matter of fact, but that's just how incessant someone's, I can't even say like confidence is. It's more arrogance, because of the history of their experience that they've always expect to receive when, on command and on demand. But like I said, like it's a bit almost delusional that they don't expect for that to go for all frequencies, especially when you're asserting yourself on a lower frequency, that, because of how you have asserted your power and your vessel to whatever it is that you do, it would depreciate now from the 10 to the 6 and really the 2, But this is like almost the arrogance of believing that what can't be acquired on their own will, at their own will, can be acquired by way of seizure. Like, I'll just take it. They'll get it from somewhere. Yet again, contributing to the low frequency of energy that has contaminated someone's creativity in the first place. It's like somebody still isn't quite getting it. Let me see one more card, because it could be literally somebody that's they're still so bewildered, that they're still not changing their energy, repenting to some degree from what they're used to doing, because it just doesn't make any sense that their methods of madness don't work. But what they're not surrendering to is the fact that the more that they try those methods, continue to hang with those folks, continue to abuse their power or authority or position, continue to put themselves in vulnerable spaces, or in spaces and places where they are vulnerable, is the more that they can continue to expect the worst, for it to just get increasingly worse of a response and a reaction in real form. It's like somebody's not really getting the cause and effect because of their arrogance. One more. Yeah, exactly. They don't even realize that they're not the emperor anymore. They're barely the King of Wands. And only the King of Wands because they still have the power to take charge of their own creativity, to change what they are calling in to be, and also taking accountability for everything that has been created, that they've been very much so effective in manifesting everything that they're experiencing. And to realize that truth and accept it, and then shift that energy for something more productive in a way that only the King of Wands could do, to really alchemize their circumstances and purify their passion too, as a matter of fact. Like somebody, they're right, you got the power, you do, but what you're doing with it is what's questionable. Queen of Swords. Yeah, the decision making. Wow, for the Ten of Cups. And I feel like this even speaks to like more so someone's selection of who of their associations with the Ten of Cups, who they allow to take up intimate space, or who they expose themselves to intimately. You see, it's kind of getting worse here with Is like the 10 of cups, this 3 of cups in the reverse can magnify to be much worse than it already is without the right discernment and wise decision making. This is somebody, really having the invitation to become more selective and more objective about their surroundings and their associations. Not just trying to be a part of what's popular or dying to be in the circles of of where they were once affluent, or where there's clout to be had or obtained, or like superficial stuff, pretty much. This isn't the 10 of Pentacles, this is the 10 of Cups. That somebody is literally being urged to wake up and see the truth of their surroundings and choose up. How about that? Like literally to choose up to something that's more spiritually sustainable, people that are more spiritually sustainable, environments. For the long-term win of happiness and prosperity. Prosperity through happiness instead of prosperity exclusively through material or measured by material. Interesting. Hold on, let me see if I'm missing anything. Yeah, it's given with this 3 of Wands, like somebody feels like heaven is coming to them somehow, some way. That they don't have nothing to do. They shouldn't have anything to do to obtain it or to create it. So it's like the only saving grace for someone would be to realize that they have everything to do with creating entry into that gateway consciously. And honorably with the Queen of Swords, like by way of truth and fairness. And this is almost given like kind of like a heaven energy, a heaven on earth energy with the 10 of Cups. Now that I'm really getting into it, that total fulfillment, peace, community, co-creativity, procreativity. This is what I mean when I'm talking about like the gateway to heaven. It's not some obscure, distant place. It's the realization of, I would say, sacred and supreme satisfaction in the earth, in 3D, in the physical material world. Certainly just as hard to come by as you could imagine some distant, far off land or space and time, but definitely not impossible, which is what I think we're witnessing in real time here, through one another, being examples of that through ascension, spiritual ascension. It's making it far more, making the attainability of it more of a reality than a fantasy, which I feel like is the energy of the wake-up call and the realization of panic, like, oh, what do you mean? You mean it's not all the money I have and all the position of power that I hold, and the opportunities that I can acquire and manipulate, and people I can manipulate and maneuver. It's not. No, it's not. It's not that. It's not that. And it's a shock to the senses for those that have been pursuing that relentlessly, feverishly, to only come to what they thought would be the realization of that, only to realize that they were, nowhere near it on the map. And that it does exist. Oh, it is a realization of a destination, but that it happens from the inside out, from right where you are, before you need to go anywhere or do anything or be with anyone. That you reach that space of, what do we call it, nirvana, perhaps, by way of your own spiritual ascension. The awareness of your truth and the assertion of it is the key. And some people just, at this point, they don't even realize they may have had a lot of keys with the Five of Swords, but that personal truth, awareness, let alone acceptance and assertion, there's some people realizing that they never had the key, and that they actually have to go on a whole life's mission and journey just to get it. Well, good luck and Godspeed to all of us, indeed. Bars. We all got that invitation. It's still an open invitation, and anyone can veer off the beaten path if they so choose to. But, for those of us that are fixated on the promised land, so shall we be, just as we are. And it is so. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.